The time has come for the Clodsire PvP IV deep dive, looking at Clodsire's most important stat checks and PvP IVs in Pokemon Go. If you're not too familiar with PvP IVs, or if at any point in time in this video you're kind of confused what I'm talking about, I highly recommend checking out my PvP IVs simplified video, link above and in the description, to get your feet wet before you dive off into the deep end here. And if you want to reference any of the material in this video in a text-based format, or if you want to get the hyperlinks to the PvP IV tables that I'll be featuring in this video, well, link down below to my article on GamePress, the Clodsire PvP IV deep dive. And without further ado, let's jump into the Clodsire. When it comes to Clodsire in the Great League, there are two main flavors of Clodsire. There is the bulk-weighted Clodsire, and then there is the attack-weighted Clodsire. So first up, I have a PvP IV table showcasing the bulk-weighted Clodsire. The minimum on this table is going to be 119.32 defense with 210 HP. However, that is not the bare minimum for a bulk-weighted Clodsire. There is a defense and HP ratio that is in reference to the superior 1-1 shield situation. So if you were to have the maximum load, the 119.42 with the 210, then you wouldn't be achieving that matchup against the high stat product superior there. For that, you'd need 119.42 defense with 212 HP in order to achieve that, or have 121 defense with the 210 HP. Because of how these tables work, I can't do both on one table. I can't like filter out the stinky stink 119s with the 211s. So that's just like a little thing to keep in mind when you're looking at the IVs here. Like, you see the 119 with the 210, that's a no-go. You see the 121 with the 210, that's okay. To illustrate here as well, things can be tighter. So here I got a 121.2 with the 210 stamina against the rank 1 superior, and you can see that we are achieving this matchup with just 1 HP. But we do have that 121.2 on the defense. This is the rank 1 superior. If you check out the Frenzy Plant breakpoint here at the bottom, setting this to Frenzy Plant, it's just getting it. We're just like avoiding it at 121. That means if the superior has any sort of slight attack weight on it, then it'll be doing the 71 damage, which means we are no longer surviving with the just 1 HP. So if you want to make sure your Clodsire is even more fortified, I'd probably set this table to a 212 as a minimum, which does tighten up the table quite significantly, right? And then for the 121ers, I would use the 214 HP because, it will move in a magnitude of 2 if superior is, reaching a slightly higher attack stat. In reality, that probably only gives you I think 5 or 8 options for the most premium of high bulk. Another matchup to check out on pvpoke.com for your high bulk Clodsires would be the Lickitung 1-1 shield scenario. If you are going up against Lickitung, make sure to sim against attack weighted Lickitungs as well, as per my Lickitung PvP IV deep dive, link up above and description if you haven't checked out the Lickitung yet. But Lickitung does appreciate having a bit of an attack weight, so Clodsire being prepared for that could be good. And then just for reference, it's not all about, the Lickitung and the superior either. This will help you out against all bulk-based matchups, such as like the Medicham 0-0, the Toxicroak 0-1 shield scenario, the Trevenant 1-1 shield scenario, the Deoxys Defense Form 0-0 shield scenario, the Powdered Snow Alolan Ninetales 0-0 shield scenario, and more, right? It's just that if you're going to be high bulk, and you're not 1-1-ing, Lickitung and superior, are you really high bulk, is what I'm getting at. And then when it comes to the fast move choice, be it, Poison Sting or Mud Shot, they are kind of clones of each other, so which fast move is better is going to come down to the coverage, the type effectiveness, the resistance of the opponents that you're looking at running up against. But for the most part, they are pretty even Steven in a vacuum. Next up, we have the attack-weighted Clodsire, which features various charge move breakpoints and a couple fast move breakpoints that can let Clodsire pull ahead in various matchups, kinda flip the script on your opponent who thinks they have it like that. I feel overall the high bulk Clodsire is a bit better, but of course if you are able to take advantage of the attack weighted Clodsire, you could get some cheeky wins in, especially in limited metas that play up the matchups that the attack-weighted Clodsire would have these advantages in, such as the mirror matchup, because the Mudshot Clodsire does have that lovely mirror slaying breakpoint going on. So the minimums here I have are at 96.5 attack, 118.09 defense, and 199 HP. The 118.09 defense is just kind of like a soft defense check to protect you against the mirror breakpoint a bit. 117.72 defense will protect up against a 96 attack weighted Mudshot Clodsire. The 118.09 in particular, though, is up against the rank 1 Powdered Snow Alola Ninetales. So if you do have a bit more defense than that, that could be, pretty helpful to you. In particular, having higher than a 119.4 defense will make you more resilient in the mirror matchup, avoiding more Mudshot Clodsire breakpoints, and could help out against the Deoxys defense form for the 0-0 and the Trevenant for the 1-1, among other things, of course. The 199 HP is just kind of like a general check that I got from doing mass simulation. You could go a little bit lower on the HP and probably be okay. You could go higher on the HP, but I don't think it would benefit you that much, compared to pumping up your defense a little bit more instead. Now, when it comes to the attack weight, the 96.5 minimum isn't specific to the Mudshot Clodsire mirror breakpoint. If you want to get that against the rank 1 Clodsire, then you'll need a 97.14 attack at a minimum. But there is like a whole spectrum of different, attack breakpoints for charge moves and for the Mudshot that Clodsire could be getting. And I'd say the most bang for your buck starts at the 96.5, especially if you do want to have that higher defense and HP on the Clodsire along with it. If you pump up your attack to the 97.14, then meeting some of the defense breakpoints and bulk checks can be a little bit more tenuous. So here up on the screen is a spectrum of attack weights to keep in mind if you want to mix and match and experiment with your own Clodsire PvP IVs. I'd say as a general rule, if you want to have different flavors, going for that 119.4 defense is kind of its own flavor, right? Going for the 96.8 on attack can give you a Mudshot breakpoint against Clefable for the 1-2 shield scenario, and for the Spark Lantern 0-1 shield scenario, so that's pretty nice. If you do go up to that 97.2 attack stat, then that is good for the rank 1 Clodsire if you're trying to get that mirror breakpoint. When it comes to the Clodsire mirror, for the 0-0 and the 1-1, it is charge move priority, so the breakpoint isn't helping you out that much there. And then when it comes to the 2-2 shield scenario, if you go too deep, you reach your hand too deep in the cookie jar when it comes to having an even higher attack weight, then you could lack the bulk to, be resilient in the 2-2 shield scenario. So it is a little bit goofy in that respect. So yeah, if you are curious about maximizing your mirror matchups, make sure to pay attention to that 2-2 shield scenario, especially against other high attack weighted Clodsire. But if you do maintain that higher bulk stat, you kind of hug it a little bit, then you should be good for the 2-2. And then if you want to go even further beyond on attack weight, 97.4 can give you Lickitung charge move priority. Just keep in mind that a lot of Lickitungs like to go to 98 attack, so chasing that CMP might be a little bit unreasonable, might not be the most consistent experience for you. Yeah, and if you want to see what those specific PvP IVs look like, you can always customize this table. So if you want to have that 119.4 defense, kind of proof in the pudding, well, here's the 4 IVs that do that, right? And if you want a couple more options to work with, you could bring this defense down to 117 and probably be okay for the Clodsire mirror. Against the rank 1, the defense breakpoint starts at 116.45. I just wanted to start at 118 to give you that extra kind of cushion there. But obviously, having the 118 can be a little bit limiting. So when it comes to the attack-weighted Clodsire, what is the best Clodsire? Well, it really comes down to what matchups you want to have an advantage against. If you do want to be more fortified for that mirror matchup, well then obviously pumping up your attack to that 97.22 could be important. But obviously this is like the one IV spread that's doing it quite well, right? It is kind of cheesy, but to get the attack breakpoint against the rank 1, you need 97.14 attack, and you can see these ones are only getting 1-1. So if you want to have more options for the mirror matchup, setting this to 17 can give you some more options. However, if you're not too concerned about the mirror and you just want the breakpoint advantages in the other matchups, then at least having 96.8 on the attack is probably good. So these guys, probably solid. And then against most Clodsires, you're going to probably be getting the breakpoint anyways, because you won't be fighting the rank 1. But if you happen to be fighting the rank 1, well then, yeah, you want that proof in the pudding there. So that's about all I got to say right now about Clodsire and Pokemon Go. If you got any questions on this content, of course, comment below. Let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content and you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description.